everybody. Welcome to the first stream of the week. And you know what that means. You guys are so generous that at the beginning of every week for the first stream, I donate 5 memberships myself. Just like Danny just donated a membership. You guys are always being so giving. And as I've said many times, that's the best way to support this channel because then somebody else gets to benefit as well. I see that somebody else, Lady Jennifer Snow, just gifted another 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Let me donate mine. Hold on. And I do that every week because I'm so moved by your generosity. So here we go. There they are. Jack, thank you for gifting a membership. So the way the streaming schedule is going to work this week is that we have a stream today. We have a news stream tomorrow. And then, thanks, Clint. It's a little slow, so I suspect on Thursday, the live stream, and also I have to go see Garfield because I couldn't make the press screening because it was on Sunday when I did movie math. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Blair Wraith. So on Thursday, the Beetlejuice trailer drops, and I'll do a live breakdown of that trailer. I'll react first, and then I'll do a live breakdown about an hour and a half after it drops. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a really good time. So we have a pretty good week. I have an X-Men video for you tomorrow because, you know, it's our first week without X-Men. And then also my Furiosa spoiler review because I think there's a lot to discuss. That will go up on Thursday evening. And then my Garfield review will go up Friday morning. Hi, Sentient NPC. Tammy. Look at Tammy's generosity, even though she had a rough day. That's very nice of you, Tammy. All right, so thank you. That's just an update as to what's going on. So let's talk about the news. We've got 3 pretty good stories considering how slow it is. I think a lot of people are coming off a can. I think they went right into Memorial Day weekend, basically. Movie Math will still go up on Sunday, though, although I might take Monday off because it's Memorial Day weekend. But I'll also do a Hitman review next week. We got some stuff percolating. We got stuff going on. I'm going to review the series Eric on Netflix with Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm actually halfway through that, a little over halfway through. 6 episodes. So we got some stuff coming. We got some stuff. You know, we're just hanging on. We're just hanging on, man. All right, Hitman Atmosphere is the Glenn Powell Netflix movie. So we got stuff going on. We got stuff going on. I hope everybody has a fun holiday weekend planned for those of you who are in the United States and will be enjoying the Memorial Day weekend that's coming up. All right, so 3 stories. Try to keep your questions and comments to the story at hand. I will specifically address your comments and questions at the end of each section. And then at the end, of course, as always, there'll be 10 minutes of Ask Me Anything if I'm not covering a story that you wanted me to discuss. Hey, Harry's. Senior Lullaby. I saw the Blue Angels movie this weekend on IMAX. I thought it was phenomenal. Well, maybe phenomenal. It was very cool. I liked it a lot. It comes out on Amazon Prime Video this week, and I actually would recommend watching it. I thought it was not only a really nice ode to the Navy's Air Force, but you learned so much about the Blue Angels and how the organization works. So I thought it was very interesting. Thanks, Oralysis. So, the Blue Angels is good. I recommend it. All right, everybody, let's get going. Story number 1. Boop. Oh, it's moved a little bit. Hold on, let me put it back. There we go. Oh, yeah. So, Star Trek. Yes, that's still a thing. I think Paramount has been slowed down a little bit because they're hoping to be sold to somebody. And of course, that new group would like to probably come up with what they want to do with Star Trek themselves. But it's taken a real long time. They couldn't come up with the deal with Skydance, David and Larry Ellison's company. And now Sony and Apollo, that's not really working out either. And Apollo, by the way, is not Byron Allen's company. It's a different company. They're in a negotiating period with Apollo and Sony, but the deal's not looking as sweet. Sherry Redstone just can't sell this thing. All right, so because of that, they are making some moves. One in the television space, which we'll talk about in a moment, which is understandable because they've really consistently been doing TV shows for Paramount Plus. Oh, look at Gareth. I always love seeing your avatar there. Very generous, Gareth. But they're also trying to get this movie off the ground. They have been trying to get a movie off the ground forever. I mean, as one of you just said, where's our Tarantino Star Trek? I think we all wanted a Tarantino Star Trek. It wouldn't have counted as one of his 10 movies. I wish he'd done it. I think that would have been interesting. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So Simon Kinberg, that guy on the red carpet for Dark Phoenix, the movie that killed the Fox X-Men movies, and which he directed and wrote and produced, he is going to be a producer on this new movie. He's not going to direct it. That's going to be Mr. Toby Haynes, who did Andor. That makes me feel a little good. What do you hear what the movie's about? That feels pretty good. But then, it gets so bad. So not only is Simon Kinberg involved, but so is Seth Grahame-Smith, who, my God, him together with Simon Kinberg, I mean, they worked together on some crazy movie. I forget what it was off the top of my head. But, I think we made him an Abraham Lincoln vampire killer. Again, just on Sunday on Movie Math, I said, I really don't feel that a lot of people in Hollywood sample their own product. They aren't frequent moviegoers. They don't go every weekend like the rest of us. And I think if they did, they would be like, why would you pick these two people? It's like Akiva Goldsman. I know the dude has an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind, but we all know, 90% of the time it's going to be bad. So I think that Simon Kinberg is still walking around saying he helped do the X-Men movies before he directed them. When he directed them, that's when they really were in bad shape. But, he was working on them as a writer, but clearly he was not the magic ingredient because then his movies would have been better. So it's just, it's shocking to me. Absolutely shocking to me that these two individuals would get this job. Yeah, Danny, he directed Dark Phoenix. I really, forget even if you just watched the movies and you kind of paid attention to fans, okay? Look at the box office numbers. I don't understand why I think a lot of times what happens is that executives let the agent set the table. So Simon Kinberg's agent comes in and goes, he worked on the X-Men movies. Those were pretty popular. And the executives go, oh, great, I love the X-Men movies. I've heard of those. They were popular. Instead of being like, oh, Simon Kinberg, let me Google him. And taking a look at the last couple of films that the guy made. He's a nice person. He's certainly quite wealthy at this point. But maybe he should take his money and go home. We'll see. We'll see. I would love to, I think that Hollywood always feels maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. But I think, when every fan can look at something, hey, Bay, thank you, that's very generous of you. When every fan can see an announcement and go that's a horrible idea, it really shows, I think, a disconnect between the people who make the product and the consumer of the product. It's just weird. Thanks, Big League Chew. All right, so what's this movie going to be about? I actually think this sounds pretty good. And I think at first I was like, why would you hire the director of the Andor show to do Star Trek? The tone is so different. And then I saw what the movie was about, and I was like, that's actually pretty good. So right now, the pitch is it's the origin of Starfleet. It's almost modern times. And it's, thank you, Sonny. And it's when we have our first interaction with aliens. It's funny you say Zachary Quinto, Marcello. Maybe Spock will be the first alien that we ever meet. Although he wasn't alive back then. But maybe it'll be one of those Vulcan. What is it? Isn't he a Vulcan? I'm not a Star Trek fan. So they show up and they go, live long and prosper. And we're all like, who are you guys? Thank God you are nice. It always amazes me that everybody assumes that aliens are going to be like these really nice creatures that are just curious about what we're doing. I'm like, how do you know they're not vastly superior and it's not even a fair fight and they just come in here and destroy us and hate us? Hey, Big League Chew. I think with the way the world's luck has been going, that's probably the way it would be, the latter. That's right, Danny. They're the Borgs. I love the Borgs. Star Trek with the Borgs is still my favorite Star Trek movie to date, although I'll never forget that earworm. with the Wrath of Khan. Yeah. Never getting over it. Burned in my brain like an earworm. So it's going to be like the first interactions with aliens. Okay? And they're like, and the Earth is like, we need a Starfleet. I guess, it's like almost like Space Force, right? So I think it's I think that's a good setup. Like, what would it be like if, like, what's a realistic take? Although, why don't you hire Steven Soderbergh? That's who should direct it. Although he's very anti-commercial sometimes. And he's done speaking of somebody who's been making a lot of crap lately. But I'd at least talk to Steven Soderbergh, and I'd say, remember what you did with Contagion? Like, I don't know about any of you, but when the pandemic started, we were all renting Contagion because it was ridiculously accurate. You're like, how'd you know? Even down to like the vaccine and the way they would check to see if you had it before they let you in anywhere. I mean, it was nuts. You were like, that's just incredible. So I'd be like, hey, why don't you go and do this like really realistic take or something? I mean, we'll see. Hey, King Blandon, look at your photo there. So I think it's a pretty good idea. Now, speaking of Starfleet, that's the new show, Starfleet Academy, set for Paramount Plus. Now, some of you might wonder, why does nobody ever talk about the Star Trek television shows? Well, that's because Paramount Plus doesn't want you to. For those of us in the YouTube space, you can't cover any of their stuff. You can't do reactions. You can't really do the show because they're just super aggressive. So that's why nobody talks about Star Trek, which I think is really a stupid policy because people need a lot of help deciphering Star Trek. So I think there would certainly be at least one or two YouTube channels that could carve out a specialty with that. And then Paramount Plus could work with them to really kind of, have like an outreach situation. But they don't do it. And so it's fine. I mean, they're certainly making a lot of Paramount Star Trek shows for Paramount Plus so that someone's watching them. But I think that it hurts their ability to expand their audience and make the shows more of a pop culture experience. So that's on them. But they're making a new show called Starfleet Academy, and Holly Hunter just joined the cast. Now they're saying she's the lead, but it doesn't sound like the lead to me. She's the captain of Starfleet and the chancellor of the Academy, but the focus obviously is going to be on the class of students. And I think obviously it's like Gen V, right? And, so they pay attention to the students, and then every once in a while, Holly Hunter will walk in and go, how's everybody doing? How are your grades? Maybe she'll make a speech. She'll give somebody a pep talk, and then she's out of there. I love Holly Hunter. I think, obviously, I think at this point, her most iconic role is, Elastigirl. However, she has done some really wonderful movie roles over the years. Don't think of her more recent work, like when she was in Batman v Superman. Think about, Broadcast News, Raising Arizona. I mean, she's really an incredible actress. So I'm glad that she's going to be, I wish she was the captain of an actual ship, and it wasn't just going to be her overseeing a bunch of students, but that's fine. But so I'm happy about her getting the work, and I think she'll be a nice addition to the world of Star Trek. So Alex Kurtzman is still running the shows, the Paramount Plus shows. But to me, this sounds a lot like Gen V. Look, you guys are pointing out other movies she was in. The Big Sick, The Piano, Succession. Well, The Piano is, of course, a big thing for her. I didn't like her particularly in Succession. I thought she was okay. But, we'll see how this works. Jacob Knight says, hey, Grace, I'll take whatever Holly Hunter I can get. Loved her in Batman v Superman. You can't dislike Holly Hunter's performances. She's wonderful. Isn't Copycat like an old movie? But that's funny, you guys are all bringing it up. It's reminding me of some Jamie Lee Curtis movie that sounds similar. But I can't think of Copycat. All right. So, any questions or comments about this story? Sentient NPC says if Kurtzman is involved, it will be terrible. But why are they letting him make so many shows then, if his shows aren't good? I don't watch any of them because I'm not a Star Trek fan. Helen Hunter and Sigourney Weaver, they're very similar. Were they playing, although one's so big and one's so tiny. That's hilarious. Ivan Holly Hunter was on the sitcom Mr. Mayor, which was actually a pretty good sitcom. Okay. Nobody seems to have any questions or comments about this story. I'm just seeing you ask me about a lot of other stories. All right. That's right, Steve Quintanilla. I guess it is time to fast forward to the next story. All right. So that's what's going on with Star Trek. Not a lot of Star Trek fans here. I mean, like, here's the thing. I would definitely see a new Star Trek movie just because I respect the brand. But I'm not like, when's a new Star Trek movie coming out? I'm like, make one, don't make one. I don't really care. Please don't make a bad one. Please don't make me sit through a bad one. All right. So let's go on to the next story of the day. All right. Blair Wraith says, at this point, I think it's fair to say we got lucky with how decent Beyond turned out. If there's anything I look forward to with this new Star Trek, I hope it's a bit suspenseful in tone. That'd be cool. I like the more bleak Christopher Nolan-y approach, maybe, if you go Andor style. To me, I liked the first Star Trek with Chris Pine, but then I thought they were all pretty bad after that. But I thought the first one that they made, that J.J. Abrams made, was actually pretty good. Anna says, who would you cast in Star Trek? I wish Holly Hunter was in the movie, and I'd love her to be a captain. I'm not so concerned with the casting. To me, I'm more interested right now with who's producing and writing it. And I think these choices are awful. That's what scares me. I think, and I don't know how I feel about like a Gen V Star Trek. And they're like, oh, look at these newbies, and they're all going to do the same stuff where they're getting hazed and, do they like their classes? I don't care. That's not what Star Trek is about, in my opinion. But I would greenlight Starfleet Academy, even though I would never in a gazillion years watch it. The fan in me could not care less. But the executive in me goes, I think people might watch that. I mean, at least I'll give it a whirl. Blair Wraith says Matt Smith would be a perfect Spock. I really like Matt Smith, but I think, I'm glad he's in House of the Dragon, where I think he's phenomenal, but I think he might be a little bit overexposed. All right, that's right, Chris Christopher. Do they like their classes? What's the cafeteria like? Is the food any good? I mean, we know how this stuff goes a kabillion times already. All right, story number 2. Speaking of stuff that just, coming back. Boop. All right. They're still talking about pirates. Why are we talking about pirates? Well, Jerry Bruckheimer did an interview for Entertainment Weekly, which actually everybody saw instead of Variety's coverage of it. I told you, it's echo journalism. I thought Variety had interviewed Jerry Bruckheimer. But then when I went to do my notes for this breakdown, because that was the tweet I kept seeing, when I went to do my notes for the breakdown, at the start of the article in Variety, they were like, Entertainment Weekly did an interview with Jerry Bruckheimer, and here's the setup. And I was like, what? Entertainment Weekly should be like, dear sir, to Variety, or call up their editor and be like, are you freaking kidding me with this? Marduk, I have to say, boot me up, Grace, makes my day. That's hilarious. I know we're on the news story, but I think that's pretty funny. Boot me up. Boop, boop, boop. That's the sound it makes. And I would be nervous about a machine that did boop when it was taking my atoms apart and redoing them. With the way everything works, would you ever have a machine do that? You'd be like, no, it's fine. How long does it take to take the shuttle down there? All right, so Jerry Bruckheimer. That's right, Charles Merritt, the boop deck. You guys are killing it. It's so funny. I like the boop deck. That's very hilarious as well. I made a poop deck joke the other day. I was at, side note, and I liked it because it made another of my family members laugh when I texted it to them, and they're very hard to get to laugh. So the fact that I made them laugh and they actually said that was a good joke. All right, so I took a picture of my dad on the Intrepid, and I said we were looking for the poop deck, but all we found was the Pops deck, like Pops for Dad. And my dad took a particularly cute photo. He made binoculars with his hands, and it was very cute. All right, we had a great time. If you're in New York City, I highly suggest you go to the Intrepid Museum. Not only is it a cool, giant battleship, but they have an incredible exhibit right now about the space launch. And they have an actual space, one of the United States spacecrafts that you can see in person. And it's pretty sweet merch. I got 2 space t-shirts when I was there. I had a great time. They have some of the newspapers, the original newspapers, the flight suits, the astronaut suits. It's really cool. So I loved it. And if you're a New Yorker, it's cheaper. Make sure you tell them that when you get your ticket, because we didn't know that. And they said, do you live in New York? And we were like, yes. And they were like, oh, it's cheaper. And we were like, oh boy, thanks. We wouldn't have known if you hadn't told us. All right. Oh, thank you, Amelia. All right, back to pirates. So, Jerry Bruckheimer's working on not one, but 2 Pirates movies. And he's like, why can't Disney make both? And we're like, can you just make one good one, Jerry? And he's like, I think I'd rather make 2 crappy ones. All right. So one is a reboot with Jeff Nathanson. Jeff Nathanson, I was like, that name sounds familiar. Well, I recently rewatched Catch Me If You Can, which was, it was okay. It was certainly, enjoyable. And he wrote that. He also wrote the upcoming Mufasa movie that Barry Jenkins is directing. But then he also wrote, Platinum Diva can see where we're going with this already. Jeff Nathanson also wrote Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I can't believe he ever worked again after that. And then also the last Pirates movie, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Who would hire him to do another Pirates movie? I'd be like, you tried and you failed. So no more Pirates for you. But instead they were like, how would you like to do another one? And the important task of redoing it, of rebooting the whole series. You're like, why would you give it to that guy? All right, so the thing is, the reason this got to be a headline, that's right, MM92, he wrote Crystal Skull. On one of them, you could say, hey, that was studio interference. But when he's got more than one, he's got a couple of clunkers on his resume, then you're like, I think it's you, Jeff. All right, so the reason this became a headline was because they said, hey, Jerry Bruckheimer, would you bring back Johnny Depp? And in true Hollywood, form, just, negotiating, true political form, Jerry Bruckheimer said, if it was up to me, I would, insinuating that it's not up to him. And so if Johnny Depp isn't in the movie, it's not his fault. I was like, what? If I were over at Disney, I'd be like, Jerry Bruckheimer, what are you doing to me? Like, why are you making it our fault? And Jerry Bruckheimer's like, All right, so let me ask you, if I know you guys like a good poll. Should Johnny Depp return as Jack Sparrow? Heck yeah. If he's in a good place. And then no. No, someone recast Jack Sparrow. 1 second, Jack. Recast Jack Sparrow or no Jack Sparrow. Okay. There you go. There's the poll. Anyone can vote in a poll, by the way. Anyone who's watching can vote. Only members can comment in the live chat, but anyone can vote in a poll. You just click on it and let your voice be heard. Jack says, I think the last Pirates movie failed because Johnny was rarely there, and when he was barely sober. They had to work around his chaos. I think that's totally true. Or I think there were many issues, but that was a big one. So I don't think you can bring Johnny Depp back. Well, we'll see what the poll is. But I don't think you can bring Johnny Depp back if he hasn't cleaned himself up. I think he had a very difficult time. I think nobody's denying that. I don't think he's 100% innocent in what went down. I don't think he's 100% guilty either. As I said at the time, I felt that it was really a toxic situation where they were both just locked in this toxic death spiral. And I'm glad they separated. I think that was very important. But when I watched the last Pirates movie, as I said in my review of it, I felt like they were using Johnny Depp. He was clearly in a really bad place. He wasn't sober. And they were just throwing him out there in the Jack Sparrow outfit and rolling camera. And I didn't feel good about it. But I don't see how you can, I think that as long as Disney is having Jack Sparrow impersonators in the theme parks, which are incredible, by the way, he's got to be in the movie. I see some of you saying a cameo, but I agree with Adam Sphere. It can't be just a small cameo. If he's just at a bar and goes hey, everybody, I'd be like, the guy's having sober issues. Don't put him in a bar. But he can't just have a cameo where he shows up for one scene. he's got to be supporting, as Marcello said. I think I think he should be in the movie. We'll see what the vote is. I'll close it in a moment. But like as Marcello pointed out, he was supporting in the first movie and still managed to steal the show. Stephen Turner says it needs fresh start. Soft reboots get too messy. I really don't think you can do Pirates of the Caribbean without Jack Sparrow. I mean, he's in the ride. There are Johnny Depp animatronics all over that thing. Dancing Dog 60 says, to be honest, I've seen Tipsy Jack Sparrow too many times already. I would go Douglas Fairbanks, pure adventure with new pirates. I think it's going to be too hard not to do a comedic element. And then, I mean, maybe Jack Sparrow went to rehab. I'd be okay with that. Danny says the franchise was successful. It's time to move on. I don't know. I think that, they have the Pirates attraction. I think they have, they're building a Pirates restaurant, I think in Disneyland or Disney World. But one of the theme parks is getting a Pirates dining or food experience. They want to keep it going with the movies. Let me close the poll, and then I'll do another poll. All right, hold on. All right, so should Johnny Depp return as Jack Sparrow? 36% of you say, heck yeah, and 32% say if he's in a good place. So that's almost 70% of you would like to see him come back. So as a Disney executive, I go, oh boy, I can do it. 26% of you are done with Jack Sparrow, and 5% of you want to recast the character. That's pretty small, so I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying that some people wouldn't be upset about Johnny Depp's return, but I just don't see how you could do it without him. Now, they also want to do another Pirates movie. They still want to do at least Jerry Bruckheimer is saying he still wants to do the Margot Robbie one, which Margot Robbie has clarified is not an all-female Pirates movie, but it is a female-led Pirates movie, written by Christina Hodson, who also inexplicably continues to get work. They hired her to write the new Pirates movie after Birds of Prey. And you'd be like, why would you do that? I guess Margot Robbie insisted because she likes, they work together. But I'd be like, no, Margot, no, let me save you from yourself. I'm a big Margot Robbie fan right now. I'm loving Margot Robbie. I want only good things for her. But she already has her major blockbuster with Barbie. I don't even think she needs to do another Pirates movie, to be honest with you. I think she should focus on trying to win an Oscar. CM says Margot's Pirates film should center around Anne Bonny, the female pirate from real life. If not, then Red from the Ride. Red from the Ride would definitely be in there. Or maybe she could be in the Johnny Depp one. Let me ask a poll here about which Pirates movies you want them to make. Which Pirates movies should Disney make? Blair Wraith says, why is it Margot Robbie and Johnny Depp in the same film? You can't do any Pirates movie if Johnny Depp doesn't show up, in my opinion. All right, let's see here. Johnny reboot with Johnny Depp. Margot Robbie, a spinoff. Both. And then as one of you said, as Javi said, none. Don't make either of them. Hey, Babette, welcome back. All right, again, anyone can vote in a poll. You don't have to be a member to vote in the poll. It's totally up to you. Only members can comment, but anybody who's watching can click and cast their vote. Platinum Diva says, bring back the original cast and pass the torch. Usually I would agree with you, Platinum Diva. And I love you, Platinum Diva. But I feel like that has not worked. They tried to do that with Star Wars having the original cast and then the new cast. They tried to do that with Terminator. I think it's just too many characters. And then there's not enough, nobody gets enough screen time. So I don't think you can do that, unfortunately. Scream did that, Jeremiah Rivera. That's right. I think you just got to jump to the new cast and then allow them to have the space to win over audiences. Jurassic World, you're right, Lloyd Lester. The last Jurassic World had way too many characters in it. I was very happy to see the originals back, but it was too many characters. I would have just preferred to do the originals. Well, Charles Merritt, I think that new Pirates film would be the Margot Robbie movie, maybe? Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Jeff, is an excellent other version as well. Poke brings that up as well. The last Ghostbusters, same problem. It just doesn't work, I'm afraid. Babette says, do you think Jeffrey Rush's Barbossa should return? He could do a cameo. I don't need him to be in the full movie, but he could do a cameo. Stacy17 says, only way they could do a Pirates movie without Jack Sparrow is after they do one giving Jack a nice send-off. If they can't do a proper send-off for the character, then there's no point in... Yeah, like, where would he be? All right, let me close the poll. All right, which Pirates movies should Disney make? 34% of you would like to see the reboot with Johnny Depp. 30% of you don't want them to make any more Pirates movies. That's not great. Although the last one was bad. 19% of you would like to see both, right? So 70% of you, I guess, would like to see another Pirates movie. So that's encouraging. And then 14%, last place, but not too far behind, is the Margot Robbie spinoff. I mean, when you put it with both, the Margot Robbie spinoff does have some support. So that's pretty good. I think people want another Pirates movie. They just have to get it right. But I think that it needs to involve Johnny Depp. I just don't see how it couldn't. All right, third story of the day. All right, you ready? Oh, wait. Any questions or comments about this story? Bashenga, thanks, Bashenga. Daft Tool says, I would like a serious pirate movie, not done by Disney. I'm sorry, they have The Ride. People love The Ride. And then also, yo ho, a pirate's life for me. When I went to see Blue Angels, they played a new Disney advertisement, which had all the sounds like, wild is wide in the wilderness, and por favor, manténganse alejar de las puertas. It was fantastic. And I felt like I instantly wanted to be in Disney World. So I thought that was great. That's funny, Haunted Autumn. This Barbie is a pirate. Babette says, unfortunately, killed Barbossa off in the last film. Critics said he was the only good character. He's the ghost. He can't be, he's already dead when we met him. Astronomy says, Pirates needs to take a 10-year break. That's long. Keith, yeah, Margot Robbie is very busy, and she's not going to be able to make all this stuff. Just like Glenn Powell. But I guess, sometimes things don't move forward, so I guess they're both hedging their bets. Glenn Powell is, to some degree, the male version of Margot Robbie, which I find very funny. Sonny, have you never seen a Pirates of the Caribbean movie? They're very good. The first one is good, and then the fourth one is good, and then I wouldn't bother with the rest of them. 2's okay, I think. Don't watch 3. It was bad. Big League Chew says, would love a reveal with Johnny Depp in the third act. No, because it would leak, and you got to be able to put him in the trailer. Although Haunted Autumn says, Dead Men Tell No Tales came out in 2017. So, it's not almost 10 years, but we're getting scary close. Let me ask you guys, which one, I can't do a poll for the best Pirates because there's been 5 Pirates. What do you guys think is the best Pirates movie? I'm going to go with 4. That's right, Dancing Dog 60. Gina Davis's career was killed by pirates. And Rennie Harlan. Okay, here it comes. Everybody likes the first one mostly. I can see that. J. Jonah Jameson. The fourth one was not that bad. It had Penelope Cruz in it. Pretty much everybody agrees it was the first one. I should rewatch the first one, actually. I think I saw the first one in Disney World, and I remember the whole audience laughing when Johnny Depp made his entrance on the mast of a sinking ship and then just stepped onto the deck. I remember the whole audience went crazy. That's the only thing I really remember from the first movie, but it was a very strong experience. Yes, Oralysis, I think we can all agree the fifth one was by far the worst. Hey, Dallin says, as a Disney Parks fan and also of Our Flag Means Death, I'd much prefer a non-Depp Pirates movie that focuses on the original lore of the ride. You know, Dallin, people really like Our Flag Means Death, and maybe I would go out to that creative team and see if I could do something with them. because people sure love that movie. That show. Anytime anybody's tweeting anything about Max, people in the comments are always like, why did you cancel Our Flag Means Death? We hate you. All right. Hey, Kiss My Kimchi. I'm glad you made it. Chad, you have the same memory of that scene? Yeah, it was really amazing. It was a great entrance. All right, let's go to the third story of the day. Boom, baby. All right, so Disney, of course, is looking for more things in their parks to turn into movies because Pirates worked so well. And they keep trying and trying. They have a Thunder Mountain movie coming up. They have a Space Mountain movie coming up. But it's not gone so well. You know, I think the Pirates, and they turned Tron into an attraction. But Pirates really is the only one that's worked. I thought Jungle Cruise was okay, but it was not as good as Pirates. So they're like, but they haven't given up hope. They're very optimistic. So they've greenlit a Club 33 movie. That's what they talked. It was in the news today. It's a movie that this guy who worked on Goosebumps and Shazam, Darren Lemke, who I've never heard of, is going to be involved. And so here's the setup, okay? So the setup is Club 33. We'll talk about what Club 33 is in a minute because this is the worst idea ever, all right? So the setup is that a woman named Kim is a detective, a modern current-day detective, and she gets an invitation to Club 33 in the movie. And when she shows up, it's like a dining experience, a restaurant, a club that exists outside of space and time. And therefore, it's full of really famous people from throughout history, past and present, and maybe even the future. But there's a murder. So she has to solve the murder, and all the suspects are these famous figures throughout history. Now, that's not bad. It's like sci-fi Murder on the Orient Express. I think if they cast Kim well, it could be great. I think you have to be really careful. I think that you have to get the right actress for that lead so it goes over well and has broad appeal. But I think there's an actress out there that could do it. If it was Scarlett Johansson, we'd all be excited. All right? So I think there's something there. But Club 33, so I like the idea of the story. But Club 33 is a horrible thing to base it on. Why? Well, here's a tweet that I totally agree with, which went up when I said I was going to be covering that. And it's from Ari, who said, why would anyone want a movie about Club 33, a film about a place a regular person will never get a chance to experience? All right, so, and that's true, because you will look at this movie. Yeah, it's supposed to be a little bit like Night at the Museum, Danny. So you'll look at this movie and you'll go, wow, Club 33 sounds awesome. I am a huge Disney fan. I'd love to be a member. Kay Walton got in. You can invite a guest. So people have gone in as guests. I know somebody who's gone as a guest. Dallin says, the irony of Disney making a movie based on an exclusive club that most fans can't get into is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, the stories that will come from this in the news are really horrific. So you have no idea how bad it is. So let me explain it to you. So what's Club 33? Because I once was like, oh, how much is it to join Club 33? Maybe it's something I can aspire to. Even if I had the monies, I don't think it's worth it. All right, so the initiation fee is $35,000, but that's just to join. Afterwards, every year you have to pay an additional $15,000 for your membership. So it's $35,000 the first year, and then every year after it's $15,000. Now, even if you can afford it, even if you hear that and you go, I think it's worth it, I want to pay that amount of money, they won't necessarily take you. It's a private club, which you have to apply to, and then they decide whether or not they want you in its ranks, which is why most of the membership is celebrities, like Tom Hanks and stuff like that. And then also, Tom Hanks is like, I can't take any more controversy, man. And then also, a lot of times Disney executives or people who worked for Disney executives will get a membership, like as a bonus or something or as a gift. I've heard of that happening as well. So I just cannot believe that they would call attention to this. It's so expensive, and it's like you can't even get in if you wanted to pay for it necessarily. And the fact that it's mostly celebrities, and I think people who would want to watch that movie. I think it would just make you feel bad. I mean, like I have that picture here. That's where Club 33 is in Disneyland. But there is a Club 33 in every Disney park. So let me tell you what you get for your money. $35,000 up front, $15,000 a year. So you get an annual pass to the park where you're based. So if you're in Florida or around that area, you get an annual pass to Disney World or an annual pass to Disneyland, etc. Then on top of that, you get 50 single-day passes that you can use yourself or give to someone else that are good at any park. Then you get 5 private VIP tours a year. I'm sure you've heard of the VIP tours, although the last time I was at Disney World, it used to be they would take the VIP people in through the back entrance or the exit of the ride so they could get right on. But last time I was in Disney World, they were walking right up to the lightning lane and standing in line with their guide with the rest of us who had lightning lane. And you're like, why are you in lightning lane? You paid like a couple $1,000s and I just paid like $37 for the day. And they were like, that's the way it is, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so 5 private VIP tours. You get Genie Plus passes, access to all the Club 33 lounges, exclusive merch. Is it free? It better be free. They're like, $15,000 plus $30 for that t-shirt. I'd be like, give me this for free. And then also other VIP experiences that they do that set up for club members to be able to attend. So most people don't know the Club 33 exists. You're right, Platinum Diva. It's totally not free. I'm sure you have to pay for the merch. They're like, you want this mug? $20. And you're like, I just gave you $15,000. And they're like, do you want the mug or not? And I guess if you're paying $15,000, you're like, what's another $20 to give me that mug and t-shirt? Well, $50 at that point. But yeah, that sounds really goofy, Atomsphere. It's very goofy. But I think that the movie would make everybody know that this club existed. And people are already upset about how expensive it is to go to the parks even now. So I just can't believe that they would be like, oh, let's make a movie that publicizes Club 33. Unless they're going to change Club 33. I don't know how it benefits them to have such a thing. I would think, they would have a Club 33 that would be affordable for more people and that you could aspire to. But again, I think even if you had the money to blow that kind of money on the parks, you'd have to go so often. And I do wonder if for some people it's free. Like if you're a big movie star, do they charge you? Or are they like, Tom Hanks will be there when you go, like for the non-celebrity members? They're like, when you go, Tom Hanks might be sitting there. And so they're like, and Tom Hanks is like, why do you keep bringing me up? And I'm like, you're the most memorable name. So, no Daft Tool. They're not located in Cinderella's castle. A matter of fact, I think Club 33 in Disney World is in Adventureland, which to me is the crappiest land. It's like, when you cross the bridge to go into Adventureland and there's like this building that looks like there's nobody in it. That's Club 33 in Disney World. The thing that's in Cinderella's castle is the Cinderella Suite, which is a hotel room that you cannot book. You have to be invited into it or win a competition or something, or win a prize. So, Aneka says, I think my dad could get into the actual building for Club 33 as a Boeing employee, but not all those other perks. Oh, I wonder if maybe they have different levels. Do Boeing employees, get that kind of access? What kind of a deal do they have with Disney? That's fascinating. Platinum Diva says, I'm in Ohio at Cedar Point from Vegas, still cheaper than Disney, and I have a summer pass. You go, Platinum Diva. I'm glad you're having a good time. Optimus Prime Ribs, thank you for gifting a membership. Hey, Andrew. All right, so Adam Sphere says, who wants to sit in a lounge at Disney? Yeah, don't you want, you made me snoot. Don't you want to be part of the park and be with everybody else? Come on, man. I think the elitism is already, the Genie Plus. Let's see here. Blair Wraith says, I watched a whole YouTube video of some rich family going to Club 33, and by the end of the video, I do not see the worth. Also, by the way, if you're in Disneyland Paris, and I've eaten there, it's wonderful. They have a regular restaurant called Waltz on Main Street upstairs. And anyone can go to that. And I think it's the same experience. It's delightful. I highly recommend eating there if you're ever at Disneyland Paris. It's my dream to go to all the Disney parks. I really want to go to Tokyo, especially now that they have Fantasy Springs. Bad, I can't afford Club 33. It's so expensive. It's as I told you, it's $35,000 up front and then $15,000 a year. I don't live near any parks, you know. Let's see here. Look at everyone. Zunigator, I'm glad that you could do $33. That's a good one, Zunigator. That's hilarious. Platinum Diva, you want to go to all the Disney parks too? Yeah, that's my dream. I've been to Disney World and Disneyland, obviously, and I've also been to Disneyland Paris, which was incredible. They all feel so different, which is so nice. I don't really feel like I could go to Shanghai because I get a little nervous about going into China because they spy on everybody who's in the country. So I will go to instead. I think I'll feel complete once I go to Tokyo Disney. I really want to go to Tokyo Disney. Steven says I can see this being another Tomorrowland flop. Even worse, because I think that it'll just reveal like elitism. Babette, I am not a Soho member. Slade says I would rather have a big Thunder Mountain film. I don't know. Did they just announce a new X-Men movie? I told you, never fails with the live stream. Oh, they hired a writer. Whew, we can talk about it tomorrow. Who's the writer? The guy who wrote Hunger Games. God damn it. The guy who wrote the last Hunger Games movie, Michael Leslie. Keep looking, Kevin Feige. Keep looking. Don't sign him. Don't do it. Again. I mean, I thought Hunger Games was okay. Like, I was fine, but I wasn't like, who wrote this? Let's see here. Look at Aided Buffalo with his conspiracy theories. All right, does anybody have any? Did he also write the Assassin's Creed movie? Oh. All right. My God. Again, Google. You know, I once heard of a producer who didn't know that Google was free, which I thought was hilarious. He would ask his assistants and say, is Google installed on my computer? And they'd be like, yes, it is. So, but I mean, Google exists, my friends. All right, any questions or comments about Club 33? And then you can do Ask Me Anything. Danny says, Grace, what would be your attraction choice to make a movie? Well, I do like Thunder Mountain, even though Westerns don't always do very well. I like Thunder Mountain. I like Space Mountain. I think the mountains are popular. Mish wants to move on to the Q&A. All right. Expedition Everest. I don't know. Expedition Everest, I think, is a little light on the lore for a movie. Down like an Epcot movie. I do love World Pavilions, boy. So wonderful. All right. Okay. All right. Q&A time, baby. Booyah. All right. Carousel of Progress, Jerry. I would watch it, but I don't know if other people would. All right, it's 5:11. You can ask me anything you'd like until 5:21. Astronomy 360 says, what are some of the coolest attractions or lands in the Disney parks across the globe? Well, I can't really say about that off the top of my head, but I would say what's interesting is that the parks all feel so different. Even Disneyland to Disney World. That's what's really wonderful, to be able to go and see how different these parks are. And that they really do have their own vibe. It's just wonderful to experience. Aubrey Smalls, that Stitch movie's coming. Maybe at D23 we'll get our first look at Stitch. That would make me very happy. I'm really curious. Tiago, I did see that Lady Gaga is doing a tour on Max. I talked about that on Movie Math on Sunday. I hope it does well. Movie TV Review says, how much money would Johnny Depp get for a new Pirates movie? Well, he lost all of his money. You know, he blew it on, bad decisions, I guess is the best way to describe it. But so he's not going to do it for free. But I think I should get a discount considering all the damage he's done to his brand. I'd be like, you're not what you once were, Johnny. So I think in the past he would have gotten like $20 million in like percentage of the profits. But here I'd maybe give him 10 and a percentage of the profits, and less than I would have given him otherwise. But I mean, he's Johnny Depp, is Jack Sparrow. I don't feel I can make the movie without him. He knows it. I know it. So I'd still give him a respectful deal. Fritz, I'm not doing a spoiler review for Garfield. That's hilarious. MM92 says, Happy Tuesday, Grace. What do you think makes a really great producer? What should they keep in mind as a producer? I think a really good producer has a mind of their own. I think too often a producer seems to work in service of a director that they're working for. That is horrible. There should be a really good push and pull between the director and the producer. The producer is supposed to look out for the best. Again, I keep saying it, watch The Offer. If you want to see the perfect example of the Hollywood dynamic, watch The Offer. And that's, what you see there, and the character that Miles Teller plays, that's a really good producer. Danny, there will be a BTT Inside Access this month. Thanks for reminding me. It will be next week. Ricardo, the ticket sales for Deadpool and Wolverine are doing well. I don't love that they qualified it with the best of 2024 because 2024 has been an awful year for pre-sales. For box office. So, that doesn't instill a ton of confidence. And I've checked the theaters, and, I thought it was going to be something along the lines of Endgame. And there are still a ton of good seats left. But I polled you guys on Twitter, and a lot of you were waiting. But you're going to buy your tickets, but you're just waiting till a little closer to release because we're 2 months out. So I think the movie will still do very well. Carrot, yes, I am a Rotten Tomatoes member. So yes, my reviews do show up there, and I do contribute to the score. Mexican 8 Nacho says, Hi Grace, Joker 2, Furiosa, or Dune 2 to dominate awards season? Well, I haven't seen Joker 2, considering the first ones did so well for their studios. Always a pleasure with you too, Mexican 8 Nacho. I would say right now, I think Furiosa is out of the running. I just don't think it's artistic enough. It's certainly enjoyable, but it's not artistic enough. Lucas says Tron is pretty good in Orlando. It's good. It's too short, though. I agree with people that they should let us go around twice. Let's see here. Jonathan says, Hey, Grace, hope all is well. What should Warner Brothers do to separate themselves from Amazon before releasing their animated movie? What do you mean, for Lord of the Rings? There's nothing they can do. They just have to be like, ours are the good Lord of the Rings stories. Apollo Swift says, what do you think about Taylor Swift being in talks for the lead in the Blonde Phantom TV show produced by Taylor Swift cannot act. I love Taylor Swift, but I saw a bunch of jokes about this already online. I saw a really funny tweet where someone said, Swifties will support Taylor in anything except acting. She can't act. She can, to her credit, I think Taylor Swift can do everything else, but she cannot act. So I think that's a bad idea. Babette says, who should star as Grace in a movie about you? I don't know. You can't cast yourself. Let's see here. Ellie says, Dakota says, who would you like to see write the new X-Men film? I'd like to see someone from the X-Men 97 show write it, to be honest with you. Ellie says, thoughts on Dwayne Johnson in 824's The Smashing Machine. The makeup and prosthetics are insane. Well, yeah, I was like, for this you have hair and you didn't for Black Adam? That's the only thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit about it. I don't know. I hope it works. I think Dwayne Johnson's a little bit overexposed. I don't think he's taken a long enough break, but I do like the Safdie brothers. So let's see. Jay Kelly, I thought the Beetlejuice poster was great. I think it's going to do so well during the holiday Halloween season. Same with Haunted Autumn. I'm excited to see this full trailer on Thursday. Emily Jackson says, wanted to say hi. Hi, Emily. Fun fact for the day. Did you know that the Paramount Mountain is modeled after Mount Ben Lomond here in Ogden, Utah? I did not know that, Emily. That was a fun fact for the day. Thank you. Cole says, would you ever hire an editor? I had an editor a while ago, but I usually had to oversee all the work. And so it was just as much work as if I edited it myself. And also, the editor just doesn't care as much as I do. You know, it's not their channel. It's not their, you know, I love what I do. I feel honored to be able to do it, but I also feel I have a responsibility to deliver a certain caliber of content to you. And, but, you know, an editor, it's just a job. And so I thought that came through sometimes in the editing. So I'd have to go in there and punch it up, and then I might as well just have edited it myself. Ryan, you're going to Disney World this weekend. I'm so jealous. My favorite restaurant, oh, there are so many. I like the Plaza restaurant on Main Street. Get reservations, it's gonna be crowded. I also really like the Rose and Crown Pub at the UK Pavilion. I ate there, I had such a good time. Also in the Chinese Pavilion, the Nine Dragons restaurant is phenomenal. Let's see here. Adam Sphere says, can we at some point get a poll on which upcoming June shows the community is most excited for? Well, maybe on Twitter I'll do that, but I'll do it here. I know you guys like polls. Okay. What June show are you the most excited for? The Acolyte. The Boys, season 4. I'm doing an order of starting. House of the Dragon, season 2. And then also The Bear, season 3. But that's at the very end of June, and it's a binge, so they just dropped the whole thing. Leroy says, are there any other things you'd ever stream about? Well, that's kind of what BTT Inside Access is about. We just talk about anything. Max is also going to Florida for the Disney parks. Everybody's going to Disney World but me. I'm so jealous. Alexander Wilson, I did not care for that choice. And he hasn't been hired to write the new X-Men movie, Alexander. He's just in talks. And so, as I just said, I hope those talks fall through. Desert Knight says, I'm surprised that Hermondi isn't popular in the U.S., even though it's second most watched non-English show. And I never even heard of that show. So I'm surprised too. Let's see here. Blair Wraith says, to celebrate Furiosa Week, what would be your car truck for the apocalypse? I can't even drive, Blair Wraith. So I'd have to depend on the kindness of strangers to get me through the desert wasteland. Or I guess I could be on a bicycle. Shay says, if Marvel gave you your choice of movie to produce for them, what would it be? X-Men. 1000% X-Men. All right, let's see here. Boy, it's really hot. The sun's really shining on me, boy. Blair Wraith says, Comcast put together a mega streaming bundle. That I thought the price was not bad, but I think you have to be a Comcast member to get it. Everybody keeps saying, oh, it's cable. It's not cable because there's no middle person. It's the studios directly going to you, but I guess Comcast is kind of a middle person. Oh, Dimitri, you're going to Disneyland in June for Pride Night? I've seen photos of previous Pride Nights. It looks so well done. I hope you have a good time. In fact, I'm sure you will. Ricky, the Umbrella Academy is in August. Thanks, Platinum Diva. I'm glad you guys will help me out during the apocalypse. Let's see here. Flash, she says, hi, Grace. Any dream diamond holders for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? You want Jennifer Tilly. I like the Bette Midler idea, to be honest with you, although I'd be happy with Jennifer Tilly. I like the idea of getting like a true celebrity in there, although Garcelle, of course, is famous. Mish, it's all up to Brad Bird if they make The Incredibles 3. I would love for them to make The Incredibles 3, but I'm glad he's taking his time. I think he'll make it eventually. Let's see here. Your Grace Randolph castings are very flattering. Thank you so much. That's right, Jonah Jameson. I did end up turning into a zombie during the apocalypse, as Zombieland 2 documented, because that actually happened. Oh, it's time. All right, let me close the poll, and then you can tell me what you're up to so I can say hi. All right, let's see here. Where did it go? There it goes. Okay. What June's show are you the most excited for? 37% House of the Dragon. But look how close The Boys is at 32%. Oh, we love some healthy competition. That makes me very happy. The Acolyte is at 16%. And then The Bear, that's understandable. It's at 13%. It's a binge drop at the end of the month. It's not even totally fair to include it. But I'm so happy the House of the Dragon and The Boys are pretty equal. The Boys is such a wonderful show. Platinum Diva, you should watch The Incredibles. I actually, on Mother's Day, I went out with my family, but in the evening I watched a movie at home, and I decided to watch, I'd recently seen The Incredibles 2 again, so I decided to rewatch the first Incredibles, and it was such a good time. Those movies are phenomenal. All right, so where are you? What are you doing? What's going on? Let me say hi. That's right, Austin. Speaking of Holly Hunter. M.R. Negru is a truck driver listening to your program on the road. Toot toot! Do the horn for us, M.R. Steve Quintanilla is about to go walk his dog in sunny Los Angeles. I love it. Let's see here. Elise also enjoys The Incredibles. iHeart Movie, where did that go? iHeart Movie says, in Ohio, watching your stream after watching Mayor of Kingstown, while Emmanuel is making dinner in Nigeria. I love talking to you guys all over the globe. Platinum Diva is in Ohio on vacation, just got back riding the best roller coasters. I love it, Platinum Diva. You're living your best life. Marduk says, finishing my binge of Umbrella Academy. I love how you spelled it. In my house, in the French countryside. You're living in the French countryside and feeling the love. Oh, the French countryside. So beautiful. Très nice. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I love it. France is just so idyllic. Rodolfo is in Texas surviving the scorching heat. Well, Jay Scott Garraby is having an iced coffee in Philadelphia. Mr. Magic says late lunch and then going to take care of my mental health in Portland. Good for you, Mr. Magic. Well, Brandon Freddy says finishing work before heading to eat soba noodles by Grand Central. Fellow New Yorker. Danny Dumphy is getting ready for pub trivia night with friends in South Florida. I hope you win, Danny. Well, Liam says watching X-Men Last Stand. Why? Rewatching all before Deadpool and Wolverine on the sofa in the UK. Well, that explains it. That makes sense. Let's see here. Keith is drawing Rogue. I hope that turns out great. Oh, thank you, Marduk. Très joli. That's very nice. Danny says, having lunch, day off in Guatemala. I'm glad you're having a nice day, Danny. I'm glad I'm a part of it. Flashy G says, going to watch Dune Part 2 on Canada's Max Crave with my parents on Vancouver Island. That sounds like a lovely evening. Well, Leroy is ordering hibachi for dinner in Ohio. It's just me and my son tonight. That's great. Leroy, I'm assuming you're a guy? So it's a dude's night in? I love it. Let's see here. Mish says, having an X-Men marathon leading... look, another X-Men marathon leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine. Blair Wraith is a fellow trucker, just parked up for the night in Nowhere, Montana, warming up lasagna and watching Fury Road after the stream. Wow, Blair Wraith. That sounds like a perfect time. King of the Cheviot Hills says, eating an orange Kit Kat in the UK, where you guys have crazy candy. Let's see here. Morph is currently completing their membership to Club 33. Take us all as your guest. Take us all as your guest so we can see. Max Rollo says, in the UK in a dodgy hotel, but cheap with the door locked, hoping to survive the night. Max Rollo, why? For my 10 a.m. flight to Miami tomorrow. Are you because you're going to Florida? Oh, the things we do for Disney. Carrot O is washing laundry in Singapore. I love it. And Ramsey says, Grace, you inspired me to take better care of myself with diet and exercise. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that, Ramses. Stay strong. I hope you're doing well. That's great. Michael just made some vegan chocolate walnut ice cream. And is enjoying the sunlight outside while listening to your live stream. That sounds delightful. I had some ice cream this weekend. I was at the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory, and I'd never been there before, and it was delicious. Let's see here. I don't usually even eat ice cream, but it was good. Oh, Claritzabel, happy birthday. Oh, CM, I'm sorry I missed your super chat. Oh, there's Claritzabel. Claritzabel, your picture looks fantastic. Happy birthday. I love your enthusiasm for your birthday. I hope you're having a great day. Fritz Fromm says, waiting for Friday when I'm off to Italy. Wow, that sounds great. Griffin Hammersmith says, watching Real Housewives of New Jersey, having a great time with you and the Housewives. I love the Housewives. Austin is also doing an X-Men rewatch. I love it. And then Christian Parko says, celebrating a joint birthday with me and my roommate, and we have another birthday. We are seeing a Studio Ghibli movie tonight in theaters to celebrate. His birthday is tomorrow, and mine was yesterday. You guys sound like great roommates. And Aided Buffalo is in the UK, chugging chocolate milk. Slow down, Aided Buffalo. Slow down. Don't give yourself a cold headache. I haven't seen Zone of Interest, Babette. It's on my list. Platinum Diva, X-Men for life, indeed. Oh, Leroy says, I am a dude. My daughter is at her band trip to Cedar Point. Oh, that's awesome. You sound like a great dad, Leroy. Bonjour, Ben 10 in France. Another person in France. And then CM says, snacking on almonds and blueberries. Did you take my advice or did you come up with that on your own as well? And then Zunigator is rewatching District 9 for their podcast. That sounds great. I'm glad you're doing the research there. All right, everybody, I better get back to work. Thank you for a lovely stream. I'll see you tomorrow for a live stream. And hope you have the great rest of your day. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.